Hey there, it's Sunday morning and I just released the video on making this fold down crosscut track that is fastened to the edge or side of my table saw. That's one of the problems I had when I was recording the narration for the video, is trying to refer to the various parts of the table saw. I mean, this thing is at the back, right? But some people call this the front because I don't know. Like, I call that the front. This would be the back, and these would be the sides, obviously, right? So, I don't know. You gotta, these are the things, you have going through your head when you're trying to describe something, right? So, yeah, this works really well. And like I said, it's self-adjusting for height. Now, it does pivot at a single point. So that means that the track will be slightly down for thinner stock and slightly up for thicker stock, but there's enough there's enough flexibility here to lay flat. Take my word for it. And besides, you can use this to get really precise cuts. But really, where it excels is getting semi-rough cuts. Cuts that you want to, like, you'll take, like, say, for instance, this full sheet of MDF here, which is 49 inches wide and 97 inches long, quite a big thing. And you want to cut it down in size to cut into smaller pieces on the table saw. Well, you set this up so that you cut the piece, right? Like, I have a piece here that's 30 inches wide. I wanted to put a new top on the CNC. I had MDF on there before, but it was 3/4, and I was eating up too much of the height, and it wasn't the full size. So I had to take it off anyway because I did another project. It was actually me sanding that tree thing. I did that on the CNC. And that was supposed to be the project for last week, but I didn't think it would do any good, so I didn't do it. All right. So anyway, I'll probably, okay, I need to rig up some sort of outfeed for the back of the table saw here that folds down as well, because I need space between the workbench and this, right? Now this thing, obviously, folds up out of the way, and already I've gotten questions from people. Well, what holds that up? Isn't that going to fall down? Well, I mean, I'm the type of person that, I could build something right away to hold it, right? Or I could leave it until I accidentally or on purpose move the table saw and this thing comes down and bangs me on the head. And then I'll do something secure. Anyway, so this folds up and it gives me space between the table saw and the workbench. I need that space. So whatever outfeed thing I do here has to be folding as well. Right, so but that'll be a pretty small project. So I'll probably combine that with what I've come to have called the Tree of Woe.
On the Tree of Woe.
Like, I've talked about this project before, and I also did a previous version of the project. I mentioned that in the build video, but I've been thinking about it a lot since, and I've gone through various revisions in my mind and also in SketchUp. But I'm glad I settled on this one because it seems to be the best compromise for, simplicity and also functionality, which is what I really like. I really like making things as simple as possible while still maintaining, good functionality, not giving up too much because it's too simple. I finished the project on Thursday. It took 2 days to do this. But then, some of that was thinking about the various things, like in particular on the end here, how this was going to work, and also on this end over here, how this was going to lock down and, stay square and all that stuff. So quite a bit of me sitting inside, thinking about how it was going to be. And then I came out here and I tried a couple of different things. I actually did the back here twice. And Yeah, like if you watch the video, you see that there was a hole here in the end of the plastic top. That was my first mounting point for that. That was a mistake. So I had to redo it and do it like it is now. But you know, this is figuring it out on the fly, right? So I finished the project on Thursday. I started editing the video on Friday. I got the rough edit done by Friday afternoon, and then I said there won't be any problem, get everything done on Saturday. Well, I mean, it took me, I don't know, close to 10 hours. Like there's some days when I just can't get the voiceover out. I got to keep saying things over and over and over again to get it right. I don't know why that is, but you know, on the plus side, my last few videos, I've been doing them in my office. I haven't bothered to go down the basement. I'm just, you know, take the video, I'll watch it through, and I'll do the voiceover while sitting there and, you know, do it there. And it turns out good, or good enough, okay? Like you gotta, like with everything else, you have to, you know, adjust your standards. But then, you know, finishing late yesterday, I didn't have a thumbnail. So I had to come out here at 6:30 this morning and clean up and stage this shot that I used for the thumbnail to try to give the video the best chance of doing well. So I cleaned up this end of the shop and I moved all the junk to the other end. That you saw some of that in the opening of this video. Oh, I know what else I can probably put in the video with the tree of woe and the folding table saw outfeed thingamadoodle is the contraption that this bandsaw will sit on. So I could get working on that this week because I think that the table saw thing won't take that long. I already have the design more or less worked up in my mind. Whether it works or not, no, it's fairly simple, so it will work. But this, well, obviously it has to be pretty heavy duty, and it has to slide out far enough to use the bandsaw, even with this thing up. If you can see that, you can see that. My belt sander, it folds down. It's on that tricky parallelogram contraption that does that, but I very rarely fold it down because it's almost never in the way. I only fold it down when it's in the way, which is almost never. I'm almost never up on this end of the shop unless I'm using this, right? So if I'm using the bandsaw, then ideally you'd want the table out here somewhere, so I'm standing beside this while this is still up, right? So I'll be shooting for that, all right? So I could do that. Other than that, I haven't used the bandsaw a lot, but every time I have, it's been perfect. It's been absolutely perfect. So once again, I'm revisiting the idea of making plans for this. And if I do, like I started the plans. I got about what I would consider maybe 30% through making the plans. And then I decided that, you know, it's too boring, too boring for me to do that. I want to do other things, right? And like I said before, you know, I'm in a position that I don't have to push everything, right? So anyway, I'm back to the idea that I may make plans. And if I do, then I'll take the build video, the 30-minute one, the complete one, and I'll cut that down to around 10 minutes, you know, a speedier type one, and I'll re-release it. But this won't be anytime soon. This will probably be next winter, right? You know, the best time of the year for that kind of thing is, you know, for us that do this kind of thing is maybe late September, October, November, good months for that. So that's when I'll be timing that.
The riddle of steel.
Yes. You know what it is, don't you, boy? Shall I tell you? It's the least I can do. Steel isn't strong, boy. Flesh is stronger.